Hi, I'm doing a video diary episode today because I've been thinking about a lot of things in the past few days. I have written a comprehensive list of things to talk about, like a video diary thing. The first note that I have is feeling boring. I don't really know how to say it other than that because over the past few months, especially since I started the course that I'm on now, I'm studying acting at drama school, and I'm surrounded by so many like really big like characters, wonderful people, but everyone's very extroverted, and I have never really been an extroverted person. But in past years, I have sort of been quite outgoing and been quite social and sociable. Last year we had a house, and so many people were invited over all the time, and we would have big meetups and big groups and stuff, and I absolutely adored having people around so often and being surrounded by so many people. And then this year, due to housing complications, I'm in a house share with strangers who are lovely. They are lovely, but obviously I don't feel as comfortable inviting loads of people around and stuff. So I've had like one or two friends around, but other than that, I've been kind of on my own here, and it's just been different. And I've sort of fallen back into how I was in high school with like being very like introverted. I wouldn't say closed off, but quite sort of insulated in my own world. I never really put myself out there that much, and I found my personality become more insular and quiet, I think is a good word to use. It's sort of like a natural response, I believe, sort of like I'm on my own anyway, so I might as well live inside my own head kind of thing. Whereas like, when I have been surrounded by so many people, it's been like, well, I'm living around so many people, so I should be, like, my personality should be about being with other people. Do you get what I mean? Do you get what I mean? Yeah, so I've felt quite introverted, quite insular in my personality and how I've been and who I've spoken to and how much effort I've made to socialize and stuff, as a direct result of my housing situation and just changes in relationships, just natural losses and changes in the social aspect of my life. And this has led me, I believe, all of these factors of becoming insular, introverted, quieter, making less, like having less like social activity, etc. I believe that has sort of made me more boring, or I believed it made me more boring, which to some extent it is because I haven't put myself out there, and I haven't gone out and done as many social things, and I haven't had the chance to invite people back and do afters and go clubbing and stuff. And there's so many factors that go into it, but I do believe that my personality has changed. That's not to say that my personality has gotten boring, because I don't believe anyone can possibly be boring. People can be not to your tastes and stuff, but I don't find myself boring. Sometimes I like when I say I felt like I was boring, I felt like from an outside perspective I must seem really boring, which I've been looking online and stuff, and a lot of people feel that way, especially this year. I'm not sure what it is, especially in the winter, which I am the biggest summer lover. I can't stand winter. I absolutely hate it. I genuinely think most of my problems, most of like my mental problems, are because it's cold and winter's lonely. Everything's so limited as to what you can do, which leads me to a question, actually. Did human civilizations why did we decide that it would be a good idea to settle somewhere where you would die if you don't have somewhere warm to sleep at night? Like if I was to go outside tonight and go to sleep on the middle of the street, I would die probably by hypothermia. And that is the case for like literally billions of people in the world have that problem. But not all of the world is like not all of the climate is like that. So why did humans decide it was a good idea to settle somewhere like that, especially when we need shelters to survive? Why not live somewhere where you don't need a shelter all the time? Maybe you do sometimes. I don't know. Maybe that's just a stupid thought. What was I talking about? Yeah, feeling boring. I might think that from an outside perspective I'm boring, but that just means that's just where I'm at the moment in my stage of healing and growing and developing, and I need to learn to like myself and love myself, I guess, Even though in one of the last videos, I spoke about how I don't really believe loving yourself is the right term for it. But I do think I need to start liking myself and start trying to put an effort into understanding myself and bonding with myself, so that then when I do think, oh, I must seem really boring to these people, it's not a reflection of me. It's not a reflection of who I am. It's just a reflection of, oh, maybe at this stage in time, at this point in time, I haven't managed to bond with this person to this extent where they see the fun side of me. And we're just not at that level yet, which is completely fine. It's not a reflection of me. It's not a bad reflection of them. It's just a reflection of the bond or lack thereof so far. But everything can change. Like, I might get to a point next year, especially in the summer, I believe, where A, I feel more comfortable because I know the people more, and I know the people around me more, and B, I have more opportunity to socialize with them. And also where I'm just at that point in my life, and I'm at that point in my own self-development and my own growth, my own understanding of myself, and the circumstances that will be where I will feel like I've bonded enough with them. I'm sort of trusting time with that. I think a lot of people feel boring. A lot of people feel like they don't really provide much in a social setting. That's so fine. You don't need to. You literally don't have to. No one cares. Like, no one's going to look at you halfway through a conversation and be like, you're not going to say anything, are you? It's fine. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to. If you don't feel like you have anything to say, don't say it. I guess that's another thing. That's like being honest with yourself. If you don't have anything to say, don't say it. Because if you do say something when you don't have anything to say, that's being dishonest and being disingenuous. You're just making something up to say and pretending that you have something to say when you don't. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing morally wrong with that, but it puts you in a bad position then, because other people will then perceive you to be a person who thinks this, or be a person who is involved in this, or, you know, they will perceive you to be someone who had something to say about this when you really didn't, which again isn't like the end of the world, but I'm sure I'm not alone in this, wanting to make people see exactly who I am, to be understood fully. And you can't be understood fully if you're being misunderstood. And people taking on something that you didn't really mean is you being misunderstood. So only say things when you absolutely mean them, and then you have a higher chance of being understood. And therefore you have a chance of being seen and making connections and bonding, etc., etc. Otherwise, keep your mouth shut. Yeah, I don't really remember where I was up to with feeling boring, but you're not boring. It's just where you are at the moment, I guess, is the moral of that. The next thing, it's going to be a short one because I literally don't have much to say about this, but I just wrote it because it is getting on my gosh darn nerves. I hate AI. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate ChatGPT. Everyone doing their work on it. That's crazy. Oh, like, are we living in the right world? I read that poem. Oh, I'm gonna track it down, and I'll put a picture of it here. And the quote: "Love is for those who love the work." And it's like, what? Like, why are you giving up the opportunity to enrich your mind by using ChatGPT to do an essay? Like, it just doesn't make sense. I might do a deep dive video into AI actually, because I hate it, and it will be very biased. It will be anti-AI propaganda. Where has all the life gone? The special thing about a song and the special thing about a piece of art is the fact that someone made it. And if no one's making it, like, the reason that you connect to lyrics in a song is because someone feels that way and someone's saying that. Then you're listening to an AI song and it's the exact same lyrics, but no one wrote it. You're not going to feel anything. Like, and if you do, you give less of a fuck than you should. Anyway. The framing's weird. Yeah, so the next point is, it's like a TikTok trend that I've seen going around. I did try and delete TikTok, but then I re-downloaded it the other day to check something that a friend sent me. And that's when I saw all these TikToks, and I'm going to delete it again because I can literally, when I'm using it, I can feel my brain rotting and like disintegrating. and the brain cells burning. So the TikTok that I've seen going around and like the trend is the devil couldn't kill me, so he gave me all of the passion and none of the talent. Picture you. I understand that. I understand that because there are so many things that I want to do that I know that I'm not good at. But here's my thing. If you want to do it enough, you will do it, and you will practice it, and you will get good, and you will get talented at it. The devil isn't the only person who can give you things. You can do things that can give you things. You can do the work. This ties into the AI fucking thing. You can do the work and you can get results. You can learn from it. If you have enough passion, you will eventually get the talent. Or at least you shouldn't resign yourself to only having the passion and not the talent. You have the power to change that. I believe. And I think that's what a lot of like childhood films and stuff say as well. Like, if you really do the work and if you really try, if you keep trying things, eventually you're gonna prevail. And I know that isn't always the case with everything, but I think with skills and hobbies and stuff, I think that you have a very good chance of getting good at things if you try and if you practice. And I guess another dimension to that is people never feeling like they're good enough in the thing that they're passionate about, which I also feel sometimes with, art and acting and whatever, which is why you just need to find the joy in it, and celebrate your wins, accept your losses as losses, but not as reflections for your ability. And also it's kind of helpful to do things like tracking your progress and stuff. Like in Conti, we do like logs and journals to track how we find each session and each practice that we do, our relationship with that strand of learning throughout the term, and how it changes and how it develops and how it grows. Seeing that propels me so much to move forward. If you do feel like you're not good enough, write it down, document it, make note of it, and pay attention to it and how you're feeling and stuff. Don't let it be a reflection of you. Don't let it define you, but also don't try and forget it, and don't try and just brush past it. You have to accept this happened, it made you feel this way. You didn't reach this bit, it didn't look like this, or you didn't, I don't know, you couldn't reach this note in singing, or your friend didn't recognize what the painting was, or whatever it is. Note it down and track your progress. Try it again, and keep noting down how it changes, how reception to it changes, how your reception to it changes. If you have enough passion, you will eventually get the talent. You need the will. Yeah, so the next point is feeling consumed by your world, and the world that you're in, and the environment and the surroundings that you're in, and the lifestyle that you're in as well. Because I literally, over the winter, I forget that there is a world outside. Obviously, I do go for walks, and I do spend time outside, and I do touch grass, but I don't enjoy it as much, and therefore I don't do it as much. I don't get enough vitamin D, whatever. So I spend a lot of time in bed, curled up, sat in the dark on my phone or whatever. Or even when I'm being productive inside, I'm doing work, I'm filming YouTube videos, whatever, I'm still within my own world. Like, I'm still looking around my room right now, and this is still, even though I'm filming and doing something productive, it's still the room that I've been existing in pretty much primarily for the last few months, and will continue to for the next few months. So, like, regardless of how productive you are and how much of an effort you make to keep pushing through the winter, if you don't manage to get outside much, you do end up getting quite claustrophobic in your world, kind of thing, which is so understandable, which is so normal. And then summer comes around, and this is the case for me at least. Like, I'm out a lot more, especially during uni, young adulthood or whatever. Like, I found myself out, I found myself at the pub, or, spending time going on walks and going out with my friends and spending time socializing and stuff way more often than I did in the winter, because it's just easier to, it's more accessible, and it's more available, and people don't want to waste their days in summer when it's like sunny outside. People are like, oh, let's go make the most of the sun, whereas in winter people are just trying to pass through the days. The thing that I do want to talk about that aspect of not seasonal, seasonal sadness, is feeling so wrapped up and feeling so consumed and feeling like the life that you're living is the only life there is. I have a globe over there that I look at when I'm feeling really consumed by the world, and it genuinely, it wakes me up. It wakes me up. It makes me realize, oh my God, I am so small, which is so amazing because that means I have so much to see and so much to do and so many places that I could go, that I can choose to go. I don't know. I wrote a poem about it, actually. Partly about it. I think this summer I woke up to the fact that there was a world outside, because over the past few years I sort of forgot, because I was so consumed in, like audition processes and my social life and the life that I was in. And then this summer I sort of woke up to like, oh, there's a world outside. And then this winter I'm like trying to like remind myself and be like, okay, keep aware of the fact that like, even though I'm spending a lot of time in my room, I go on this bus route and then I come home and I do that. Keep remembering that there is a world, there is an entire world out there. There is so much to do, so much future. Like, the world isn't even just the globe as well. The world is also time. It's also another gosh darn dimension. Like, it's not only the countries that I can see and the oceans that I can see on the globe, it's also all of that in every version of the future as well. Like, there is also so much time to do so many different things. It's just important to remember that you're only ever going to be in the place that you are now, right now. And then every moment going forward is going to be new in some way, because you're going to be new, because you're going to have a different experience under your belt. You do have control over the direction that goes in, not in the ways that you know and that you understand, but you do have power in your future and your experiences and what is in store for you and what you might see in the world beyond your life right now, physically and timely. Things I've learned at drama school, I've also noted down, because I think these apply to pretty much the rest of the world as well. I don't think I would only learn these at drama school. First one is taking myself seriously. Taking myself professionally seriously, and as a person and as a human and an adult seriously. Respecting my needs as a functioning body and a functioning mind. If I feel like I want enrichment time with my friends, I've learned to respect that and take that seriously, instead of dismissing it as if I'm a child, or if I want to go home and leave the party early and stuff. I respect myself and I take my own feelings and things seriously now, which I never used to do. I used to sort of joke about how I felt and how I would act, and I would play up being this really jokey person, which links in again to being disingenuous and therefore being misunderstood. The more you take yourself seriously, the more at peace you're going to be. If you are taking yourself seriously, then that means that you are respecting yourself, and you're within you are working towards being content with what's inside of you, because you're addressing it with a level of respect that it deserves. And this also applies in a professional context. That's like sort of where I learned it, because it's sort of like my ideas and stuff I can take seriously, and how I feel about a character that I'm playing, or I'm trying to apply this to the world beyond acting and the world beyond what I'm studying at the moment. But like the things that I'm doing and that I'm writing about myself, and the documents that I'm writing, and the when I'm documenting how I'm feeling at any given time. I said in my last video, I don't regret anything. I also don't think that past me is cringe. I used to look back at the things that I would do when I was younger and be like, oh my God, why did I do that? That was so embarrassing. Now I'm like, you know what? Young me was doing the absolute best he could with what he knew and what he had at the moment, because that's what he did. If he could have done any better, then he would have. If he could have done anything different, then he would have. Like, that would have been the only version that happens is the only version that can happen is the version that happens, I believe. So what's the point in being cringe? Because I was literally doing the best that I could at the time. And if I then disrespect my past self by saying that was cringe, I'm disrespecting my future self, because I'm like, okay, but me now is built off of that. And it's also like, if I don't give past me the respect that he deserves, I'm not going to get the respect from future me that I deserve, if that makes sense. If I just look at myself throughout history, throughout time, the time that I've been alive, with a level of compassion and respect and understanding that each moment I was just existing to the best of my ability, and I will continue to do that until I die, and that will be the story of me, which I think is a very healthy way to look at it. It discards of self-hate. It discards of the parasite of self-hate that can disrupt your world, kind of thing. So I highly recommend looking at past you and finding compassion for them. They deserve it, and they need it, because you need it. Another thing I've learned is how adversity propels determination. So halfway through this term, my throat is quite hurting. It's hurting quite a bit. So halfway through this term, I got really ill, and I had to go to the hospital, and then I had to go home to recover, which is home, which is back up north, and I am studying in Surrey at the moment. So I had to miss just over 2 weeks of lessons before I moved to drama school again this year. There were so many things, so many like signs that I was getting from the universe that were telling me not to go, and they were telling me to like stay away and stuff, like housing problems, financial issues. A deferral was put on the table, which didn't end up happening, but it felt like a sign that so much hassle was coming off of me coming here, that when finally I started the course, I then got a medical emergency and got forcibly taken home because I had to be looked after at home. I was like, it feels like the universe is actually telling me not to go here and not to do this. And then I spoke to my teacher, and I spoke to some other people, and then I came to the conclusion, thanks to them, that it wasn't the universe was trying to tell me not to come. It was the universe was testing me. Life was testing me to see my determination and my motivation to keep going, and how much I really wanted this, and how much I deserve it, maybe. And I pushed through, and I kept going, and I came back, and I worked hard to catch up, and I worked hard to maintain the standards that I had before, and it worked. It went well, and I've had a very, very good end of term academically, which makes me realize that like that hard time, like I probably wouldn't have worked as hard if I hadn't have gone through all of that stuff and I hadn't felt like I was being tested. And this isn't to say that like you're only ever going to perform well when you feel like everything's against you, because I do think that I could have done just as good, if not better, if the whole medical emergency hadn't happened. But I now have so much motivation and passion for what I'm doing, and so much like energy to channel into my craft, because of the hard times that I've gone through and the sacrifices that I've made for it, which might be minimal, to be honest, compared to the sacrifices that other people make for their craft. But at this stage for me, that's just where I'm at. Nothing could have prepared me for how hard it was going to be here, but it did. Like, it did prepare me, because I was prepared, because I got through it, and I did it. How much you can actually withstand as a person, what that can energize within you and invigorate within you. Facing adversity, just if you channel it right, it can give you so much passion and determination to do well. And you have that power. You have that power. And then the last thing is immersing yourself in the work is the only way. Yeah. yeah, I don't really think I need to go much into that. What I mean by immersing yourself in the work is the only way is that, like, if you really do just get involved and just be committed to whatever it is that you're trying to do, the work that you're trying to do, and the lifestyle that you want to be in, if you really do just immerse yourself in it because you love it, you have to love it, you have to like it. That's the only way that you're going to learn and really take things of value from that. You can't, I think observation is very good, but for me, at least, I have to do it. I have to be tactile with the work. I have to get involved. I have to get in the space. I have to practice. I have to be actively engage with the work. The things you come away from the work with are so much more valuable than, if you just watch a video on it. I don't know. I've learned more about video making than I ever have by watching a video, by making these YouTube videos and stuff. I find it so fun. And also, that's another thing. Immersing yourself in the work is another way of getting motivation and determination. Because immersing yourself in the work is what will point out the things that you might not be as strong at that point in time, which then might give you doubts, which might manifest as adversity. And then that adversity will give you determination. Or if it does go well, it makes you determined to keep going, keep doing well and stuff. Like, immersing yourself in the work and getting involved and practicing and doing, it reminds you of the love that you have for it, I think, or it should. That applies to acting mainly, but I don't know how much it applies to other things and other hobbies and crafts and stuff.
But I do think that that's the case for art and for any like sort of forms of like self-expression. You should love it. And if you don't, you're not doing it right, or you're not approaching it right, or you just need to change your perception or your approach to it.
So the final thing, the sort of cherry on top of today's discussion, is life is for learning. I think life is for learning. I think the reason that we're here on this earth is to just grow and develop and improve ourselves. My sister put something on her story the other day, like a meme, like an Instagram create mode meme thing. All of this just to die at the end, haha. Meaning, like, we do all of this, we go through the whole ordeal of life just to die in the end. And then I popped up to that story saying, like, that is why we are doing all this. Like, we die in the end, which is why we want to live so much and why we want to do so much. I don't really know how to word it. It's kind of the lesson of everything everywhere all at once. In that, like, nothing matters. We die in the end, so nothing matters, which means whatever you want matters, which means learn and expand your mind, and then you have more things to choose from to make matter in your life. If that makes sense. Life is for learning. The more you learn, the more range you have to choose between when choosing what you want to matter in your life. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you got this far to this rambling discussion, yeah, going, gone.
This is not a dream.